A very good morning. Welcome to The Nation. You're here with me on a fabulous Monday morning, Tamina Kausji, and in the studios with us today, we have Puan Baslinda Bahrain, who is actually the Secretary General of PERCA. PERCA, which stands for Pertubuhan Pelindung Khazanah Alam Malaysia. All right, welcome to the studios, Puan Baslinda.
Thank you, Tamina.
Thank you so much for being with us here today. All right, so basically, would you like to tell us first about what exactly PERCA stands for?
Okay. PERCA is Pertubuhan Pelindung Khazanah Alam, also known as the Organisation for the Preservation of Natural Heritage Malaysia.
Okay.
So our aim, our vision is actually to be the force in ensuring and protecting and conserving our rainforests. Our utmost vision is actually to protect our rainforests from of all its biodiversity from extinction, and for the betterment of our future generation.
I see. So how long has PERCA been around?
Yeah, PERCA was formed 4 years ago.
All right. By
our president, Puan Sri Sharifah Sabrina, who is a person who is has nature close to her.
Right, passionate about it.
Yeah, she's very passionate on nature. So all the ESCOs of PERCA are from different sets of backgrounds, but we share the same passion.
I see, same vision.
Yes.
Okay, and I think it's something very timely as well.
Yeah.
Because we've been having so many, I think, environmental issues. The awareness has increased.
Yes, true.
All right. So basically, PERCA is an NGO, or is it a government-supported organization?
It's purely NGO.
Purely NGO.
Yeah, and all the ESCOs and the members are all purely volunteers.
I see. All right. So before we get more deeper into what PERCA is about, what do you yourself do? What is your professional background?
Okay, I'm the Secretary General for PERCA currently.
Yes.
So basically, because my background is actually on legal.
I see. All right.
So, but I'm a legal by profession. But at the moment, most of my time is mainly to say I'm focusing on the NGOs works and documentations. As you said, Jen, I'm responsible in ensuring and monitoring the correspondences, the communications, the documentations.
All right, making sure everything is organized and administrated.
Yes, correct.
I see. All right. Now, how about when it goes for PERCA, what has been the scope of work, especially in the recent flood situation which has affected our brothers and sisters in Malaysia?
Oh, okay. PERCA main activity is replantation.
I see.
We've been doing it. Yeah, we've been doing it since its establishment. So we've been doing around 11 replantation in many of the states, especially Pahang, Selangor, and basically we've planted around 26,000 trees.
Okay,
for the past 4 years. Like any other NGOs, when you're talking about the recent flood that hit the East Coast. PERCA, like any other NGOs, also try to provide help to ease and help the victims that's affected, because we know this flood was a very major one, and it has affected around more than 200,000 people.
That's right, the worst in the past 30 years.
Yeah, the worst one. Affected around 8 states in the Peninsular Malaysia, including Sabah.
That's right.
So for us, like other NGOs, we try to help. We contributed some basic items,
necessities, and all that.
Foods, and we also went to do gotong royong.
Right. Yes.
We went to some locations in Pahang, particularly in this one kampung called Kampung Bangau Tanjung. Is in Temerloh.
Temerloh, I see.
So we went there a couple of times. The first time we disseminated the contributions, the food supplies, and subsequent to that we went for gotong royong.
Right. Okay. Yes. So I think that is one thing which is really on the minds of anyone following the flood situation. The recovery now that the flood waters have started to recede.
That is the crucial part actually now.
True. All right. So speaking about the recovery efforts that you all aided in, where and how did PERCA get the supplies and etc. which were contributed?
Okay. As an NGO, we do get the contributions from public themselves, from our members, and also from individuals. So because this is on our own initiatives,
right,
and we gather that and we ferried to Temerloh.
You ferry it yourselves?
Yeah.
All right. So basically, all of you are volunteers, and you all take time out from your full-time day jobs and etc. and go down there.
Correct.
All right. Tell us about your most recent visit to Temerloh. What was the situation like on the ground, and when did you go?
Okay, this the kampung that I mentioned, Kampung Bangau Tanjung. This is a kampung, one of the kampung which is situated or located near the river banks.
I see.
Okay, according to the village people, it is normal. They face the river overflow every year.
Okay,
it's normal, but they did not expect that the water rise this high for this year.
I see.
So most of them did not manage to save their belongings.
Right, in time.
Yeah, and the water level, they said it increased up to 6 feet high level water. So you can imagine the aftermath.
Exactly, everything completely flooded.
Yeah, so they need help in getting it cleaned up, getting it organized.
That's right.
So we were there to assist them.
Okay. Right.
This kampung, if I may,
yes, please
continue. This village is actually one of the main village. The main source of income for the villagers are the ikan patin operator buildings. They are one of the main
suppliers.
Main suppliers for the whole country.
Right.
So according to them, the flood has affected them very bad.
Definitely.
The supply is affected. So it will take time for them to recover.
Yes, I can imagine the fish ponds and everything must have broken the barriers.
Yeah. The fish cage is normally at the river bank.
Right there.
So when the water flows with the trunks, the logging.
Yes, everything falling into it.
Yes.
So everything is destroyed.
Thrown away to the sea, I guess.
Right. Okay.
So no more. They don't have any fish, and they have to start all over again.
So basically, their source of livelihood, aside from just worrying about their belongings, that is affected.
The situation maybe become worse because of recent sand dredging activities.
All right.
So this directly affected the village.
Yes, so I think this is something which is a huge concern in most rural areas around Malaysia.
Yes.
So sand dredging would be one. So would you say that a kampung like this one, even during normal years, they would be affected because of other environmental activities?
Yeah. Activities like sand dredging, mining activities, logging, deforestation are all the contributing factors to this massive flood. So we put aside the natural causes.
Yes, the rain itself. The rain is something
the high tides and everything. But these factors are what I can say is man-made factors. So it's controllable. We can still control on it.
That's
the issuance of the license, the permits is all controllable. So if we continue giving out the license, or we don't stop giving out the license,
exactly,
you can.
So it is within the power of the authorities to actually completely, control what happens the next year and the following year.
True.
All right. So around how long has this sort of a situation been going on in villages like these? 10, 20 years? Or is it something that is more recent according to Peka's findings?
For this particular kampung, the sand dredging activity is just a recent activity.
All right.
But talk about riverbank, the depth of the river has been decreased because of the siltation.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because of logging, and we know logging activities has been going on for how long? For so many years.
That's right.
So all of it are contributing.
Yes, so it all sort of combines together, and if you have a little bit of unexpected rainfall, this is what happens.
This is what happens.
Just to explain to our viewers, what is siltation?
It's where the activities of the logging and clearing of the land.
Right.
So when the rain falls, the function of the trees is to actually absorb the water.
That's right.
And to protect the soil.
That's right.
So when the land is cleared, there's nowhere. I mean, the water will flow away straight away.
True.
Together with the soil.
Extra soil into the river.
Into the river.
Right.
So it takes period of time to the river the water level will actually decrease because of the siltation below at the bottom of the river.
Yeah, so basically there's extra sand that's building up inside the river, and of course there's less water in the river. Okay.
And the water basically will change color.
Yes, that too. So it becomes unusable, not potable.
Yeah, you'll be seeing like teh tarik water.
Teh tarik coloured water. Okay. But that aside, it's also the other danger is diseases.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So basically, according to what you're saying and what Pekka has found, all of these are recent activities, and just within the short span of a couple of years, they are causing so much of destruction.
Correct.
All right. So what is it that can be done in your perspective, in Pekka's perspective? How can it's easy to say that yes, less permits need to be given out and exactly, but what is the most practical thing which can actually be done?
Okay, I think basically we can learn from this experience.
Right.
Okay. People are talking and debating on the disaster management system.
That's right.
Better one, dry run for the flood awareness.
Yes, any future occurrences. True.
So this needs to be done. We just don't want people to just keep on debating, talking about it.
True.
By the time comes, it will start the monsoon season again by end of this year.
Exactly.
Correct.
Action is stronger than words.
Yeah. So it need to be done before the monsoon season. So if it's to be done, it has to be done now. It has to start now.
So it needs to be targeted, state-specific efforts.
Yeah. So I guess the contributions, the help are coming in.
Yes, I think Malaysians are very generous, and
correct.
It's been flooding in literally till the point it can't get to the locations.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
So if there's any policy that need to be changed, do it now.
Right.
Correct.
So the solution basically lies within the management of it.
If we keep on doing at the same rate what we are doing now,
right.
I think
what is the prospects like?
We can expect even a worse flood by end of the year.
Exactly, because we also have the ongoing global warming situation to deal with.
All those are factors contributing.
Smaller ones, and everything adds together, and you get the massive flood.
Correct.
That's right. All right. Now, tell us about what's your perspective about the overall recovery efforts. Of course, yes, Pekka did go specifically more into the Pahang area, but how about the other regions, Malaysia-wide?
I guess we are still lacking of the centralized management agencies that can actually coordinate all the agencies, because we know that at this kind of situation, we have NGOs, we have all these associations.
That's right.
Individuals, individuals.
Yes, even individuals. Plenty of individuals.
Yeah, corporates. They come in and help. So when they have these people, even NGOs like us, we have our own target group of victims that we want to help. So if we have a centralized agency that can actually assist and monitor the dissemination of the contributions, the help that we can give, so it can be very more efficient.
That's right. So basically a checkpoint is what is really needed in this situation.
Now we do have the NSC, the National Security Council, who is really monitoring and undertaking all this management,
all the responsibility.
But I think we need more efficient and help from, let's say, recently.
Okay, all right. So what we'll do is we'll come back once the break is over, and we'll continue with more information about Pekka and their activities. Stay with us.
Isu semasa dan terkini industri kreatif tanah air. Perkembangan muzik tempatan. Lensa anak seni. Aksi layar perak. Tanpa gosip dan sensasi, semuanya disisipkan selama setengah jam dalam Tedi Sini, bukan sekadar hiburan. Setiap Sabtu, jam 12.30 tengah hari, hanya di Bernama TV.
Kavita, mailing dah set ke belum? Sikit je lagi, Puan.
Apa menu kita hari ni?
Semua menu sihat. Ikan bakar, sup ayam, sayur-sayuran. Banyaklah.
Puan, banyaknya guna minyak. Bahayakan kesihatan lah.
Betul lah macam ni. Saya dah kurangkan separuh dari biasa ni.
Cuba rasa ni. Sedap tak?
Biar kurang masin, jangan lebih.
Betul tu. Kita kena kurangkan minyak, gula,
Garam dan santan dalam masakan. Barulah ramai pelanggan datang ke kedai kita.
Semuanya
sihat belaka.
Menyelami realiti, menjejaki masa, meninjau peristiwa, paparan kronikal kembara kehidupan, pelbagai keunikan juga pengalaman menarik. Segalanya disorotkan selama setengah jam dalam jurnal bernama setiap Ahad jam 9.30 malam hanya di Bernama TV.
Welcome back to The Nation. You're here with me, Tamina Kausji, in the studios at Banama on a Monday morning. And today we actually have with us Puan Baslinda. And she is Secretary General for PERCA, or the Pertubuhan Pelindung Khazanah Alam Malaysia, whose basic responsibility is taking care of the rainforest and how that goes. Okay. All right, welcome back.
All right, thank you.
Yes, so as we were talking about, we were speaking of the problems with flood recovery actions as well as the emergency efforts. You said we need centralization.
Correct.
So tell us a bit more about that.
Okay, the current SOP
Right.
for disaster management system, it does not cover the major flood like what happened recently.
That's
It
right.
covers only for normal flood.
Oh, I see. All right. So that is a major problem, I would think.
So we need a new SOP to actually deal to this kind of major disaster.
Right,
So if
of
we
course.
need agencies like the army to be in charge of this kind of situation, I believe, and I in my opinion, that army should be equipped with the correct tools and equipments to assist the victims. Like we were informed, like army,
Right.
they don't have boats that is suitable enough for the usage in the
To
river.
penetrate for rivers.
River.
Okay.
Their boats are actually for
The
the
seafaring.
sea.
I see.
Correct. So if we want them to be
Yes,
of
an active
assistance,
part.
we need to equip them with the correct equipments.
Yes.
So goes to other agencies as well.
True enough. And I do think, especially our army, they absolutely have the capacity to be aiding and assisting.
They do have the manpower.
Exactly. We have even seen in previous incidences such as maybe the landslides which happened in Bukit Antara Bangsa in Kuala Lumpur, perhaps in 2011
Yeah.
and 2009. They were actually there on the ground immediately, and it helped immensely.
Yeah, in fact, they were the first one to arrive there.
Exactly.
But without the correct equipments, there's nothing much that can be done.
Yes, true enough, true enough. So basically, there needs to be a centralized agency,
Mm-hmm.
and who, in PERCA's opinion, would be the right people to come together or to consult to bring about such collective action?
Okay, because currently we have the National Security Council who is
That's
actually
right.
managing. Yeah, because the existence of the council is actually it's good enough, but we are lacking of the centralization and coordination.
Right.
So it does not cover only for disaster.
Yes, not only for
situation,
floods, true.
but also of the aftermath effects, the
Right.
distribution of helps. It
Yes.
should be centralized as well.
Exactly, because I think fortunately enough we did not suffer too many fatalities in the floods,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean we don't have exactly close to 200,000 people displaced and with
Yeah.
not much hope for the future.
Yeah, we did not actually face many fatalities in this massive flood recently. Yeah, true enough. But all of this can be mitigated.
True.
When you talk about flood awareness, so people need to be aware of this flood disaster management system as well. It has to be prepared before, as I said just now, before the monsoon season. So
That's right.
information like where to go, what's the nearest, where's the nearest evacuation center.
Yes.
Need to be well informed.
How to
these
prepare
people.
and etc. True.
So, one more thing, we like a flood warning system. We don't have any flood warning system. We do have like notifications of the rise of the river level, correct? But like tsunami warning system, we can
it's
also
still
apply.
not in place.
Yes,
All right.
So that the people, the village people, because they are in village, they are not aware of.
Yes, they're sort of rather cut off from communications anyhow.
Yeah. So we need them to know that when this happen, where should they go? What's the nearest? Where's the safest place to actually park their vehicles, to keep their vehicles?
That's right. So they don't come at risk of going into the flood water.
And the most important thing, we will not leave anybody behind.
Yes, most importantly. So yes, I agree with what you're saying, because especially I had the opportunity to speak to some NGOs and they spoke about how around almost a month before the entire monsoon started, they did actually go in as a preemptive measure to distribute goods and supplies to especially the Orang Asli and the villagers, telling them about the warning signs, when to move out when the rain starts, because the year before the 2013 floods were also very bad.
Yes.
But according to the NGOs, these were the same folk who they came back to rescue out of the villages when they returned for flood efforts. Meaning which those the kampung people, the villagers as well as the Orang Asli, they did not actually heed the advice.
Yeah.
So what can actually be done about communication challenges such as these?
This is a challenge actually, to make sure that these people understands the situation, the danger of the situation,
the gravity of it.
Yes. So it just cannot happen overnight. It has to
very
be
true.
continuously. We have continuously feed them the information, because we are aware that many of these villages do not want to leave their house.
Understood, of course. It's their whole livelihood, their land.
But we have to make them understand the effect. And if they have to understand that they have to save their lives, because material damages is all that is something that we can actually
it's possible to recover.
So it has to be well informed. They have to be well informed.
True.
Correct.
So what could, for example, NGOs or perhaps even like PERCA do to help further the penetration and to ensure that the knowledge and the information, they listen to it?
Okay, as an NGO, we can go on our own, but the dissemination of information, actually, we have our centralized agency like the information department, who can actually make sure that all the information is given. Actually, also to issue pamphlets or information documents for them to know before the monsoon starts. So we are more than happy as an NGO. We are more than happy to help and to go in to actually help people to make sure that they are safe when
something strikes, disaster strikes. But I think, as you mentioned before, a centralized agency in control of all of this, having perhaps its own media and communications arm, that would be fantastic.
Because they are the main agency and they have all the information.
True.
So we as an NGO also will be relying on their information.
That is right. So you just sort of channel it down and then you disseminate it.
Yes.
True. Yes. So basically, it's not just about mismanagement of environmental resources, but also about the response of the residents in the areas.
Correct.
Right. Now, so flood tips cannot be taken for granted, for sure. Now, how about PERCA's allocations to contribute to the flood relief efforts? You said that you mostly receive it through donations. So how do you actually make the call for getting and receiving these donations?
Okay, like what I've mentioned earlier, because we are NGOs, we have our own targeted and specific groups to disseminate the contributions.
I see.
So with some collaborations with some other associations, like the one that we went, it was a collaboration effort with Pahang Tourism Operators Association.
I see. All right.
So they are the one who actually advise us where we can go. So it has to be a collaborative effort as well among the NGOs.
Right, that's true. And that maybe is another sticky point. For example, NGOs may not always be willing to work collaboratively.
But for us, because this is a place that we are not very familiar,
very aware
we are not very familiar of which area is very badly affected, prone flood area.
That's right, and also the safety of the team itself going into.
So we need local assistance as well.
That's
so
right.
That's where the
exactly
association comes in.
So overall, it's all about collaborative effort, be it from the top to the bottom down. Everybody needs to work together.
Because basically, this is not something that we can do it on our own. Even from the federal government, from the state level, it has to be done collaboratively.
So it all needs to come together.
Yeah.
All right. So we've been here with Puan Baslinda in the studios. Stay with us when we come back after the break.
Halo, apa kabar pemirsa? Salam dari Jakarta. Sebuah program kerjasama Kantor Berita Indonesia Antara dengan Kantor Berita Malaysia bernama kembali hadir menjumpai Anda.
Sedar tak kita tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, keadaan iklim yang tak menentu sekarang ni. Perubahan iklim meningkatkan kejadian kemarau, derebu, banjir dan ia menyumbang kepada perubahan iklim yang berlaku secara drastik. Inilah dia faktor-faktornya. Yang pertama, asap dari kenderaan. Yang kedua, penebangan dan pembakaran hutan. Yang ketiga, pembebasan asap dari industri perkilangan. Dan yang keempat, pelupusan sisa buangan. Ini usaha yang Pak Abu buat, iaitu yang pertama, menanam pokok. Yang kedua, mengurangkan atau tidak menggunakan beg plastik. Yang ketiga, mengasingkan bahan buangan. Yang keempat, mengitar semula bahan buangan. Dan yang kelima, memilih barangan dari bahan kita semula. Ada banyak lagi usaha yang boleh kita lakukan. Antaranya, kurangkan pemanduan kereta persendirian dan banyakkan penggunaan kenderaan awam.
Anda adalah sebahagian daripada penyelesaiannya.
Menongkah batasan masa, mengupas isu semasa, menjadi saluran pelbagai suara. Segalanya baru dan benar di Berita Bernama TV.
Welcome back to The Nation. You're here with me, Tamina Kausji, and in the studios here at Bernama today, we have with us Puan Baslinda from Peka, and we're talking about the flood relief efforts in the East Coast, the problems involved, as well as other environmental issues currently affecting Malaysia. All right. Yes, Puan Baslinda. So as we were saying, this flood relief effort and the rescue as well as the recovery, it doesn't end with just doing something during this year. What about the future? What about the future prospects of it?
It has to be done starting, as I said, starting from now. If we keep on going at the same rate as what we are doing now, as I said, the issuance of permits, of licenses, licenses for logging, for mining, it has to be stopped at one level. It has to be stopped. So we cannot wait for the nature to retaliate more later.
True.
So all these are challenges. If we don't want to have another kind of situation of a massive flood by end of this year. So state governments might take some precautionary actions to make sure that to monitor the enforcement should monitor the logging activities, the mining activities, whether all these licensed companies and the unlicensed companies are doing accordingly. It means whether they are doing it within the perimeters
of what they've been allowed.
Yeah. But what's happening now, it's more than that. They are actually encroaching more than what they're supposed to do.
Right.
So another thing is replantation.
Okay, replantation. Now this is something which Peka's interest chiefly lies in.
Yeah.
Now tell us what replantation entails.
Okay, replantation is where we go inside the forest when there's a clear land.
Right, the barren area.
Yeah, due to deforestation.
I see.
Due to logging activities as well. And as Peka, we went in and we plant trees there. So all our activities are actually in collaboration with the forestry department.
I see. All right.
So they are the one who actually advise us where to plant. They identify the locations, and we go in and plant trees. All these are forest trees.
Forestry. So basically, for example, from what I know, in general, the land is most often destroyed by palm oil plantations, for example.
That is when we talk about land conversion, the usage of the land. So normally when they log, they normally turn the land, the usage of the land, into palm oil plantations or rubber plantations. After it's done. But the effect, the effect of having palm oil plantations, of rubber trees plantations, actually not the same as we have a proper forest.
Right. So it is still better, definitely.
Yeah, better to have a forest. So because palm oil plantation is actually is really source of income for the country. Yeah,
yes, indeed.
I agree to that. But what's happening now is actually due to deforestation. When you convert the usage of the land to because the trees, the forest trees actually they help to strengthen the soil of the land.
That's right. They give nutrients back into the soil. Palm actually leaches the nitrogen out of it.
Correct.
True.
So that's why we want the companies. As NGO, we do go in and plant trees. But the companies, why don't the enforcement? Why don't the laws say that every trees that they cut, they need to replant?
Yes, replant. Perhaps if they can't do it here, they could do it somewhere else, because Malaysia-wide we are having a problem. It's a crisis, really.
Yes. And another thing is land clearance. So because the one that they're doing it now mostly, and you can see from the images that it's
the NASA images
is all clear-cut clearance.
Yes, that's right.
It's means the land is totally clear,
totally flat. Yes, nothing left.
But it's supposed to be a selective logging. It means you choose the certain criteria trees that can be cut.
Right. What is the criteria involved?
It depends on the age of the trees.
Okay, age.
The width of
the width of the
width
trunk.
of the trunk. Yes.
Okay. All right. So basically, you don't want to be cutting trees that are too young.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, now let me ask about the success of the replantation efforts. What's the situation like? And Peka does go in, as you said, to replant. So how long does it take for the saplings to take a hold in the land itself and to start fruiting and etc.?
Okay, that's why when we do it with the forestry department.
All right.
Okay? So they can because firstly, the most important thing, they'll be advising us on the type of the trees to plant.
The variety.
It depends on the soil, actually.
Okay.
Secondly, they will be assisting us in monitoring the survival rate of the trees.
Right.
Okay. So we've been planting, as I said, 26,000 trees. Many forest reserve. In Pahang, in Selangor, in KL recently.
KL as well.
So the survival rate is, I can say, quite high. It's around 80 to 90%. So we will continue doing it, and we hope that because survival rate sometimes depends on the weather.
Yes, climatic conditions as well,
and
interaction
the soil as well. So we won't stop doing this, and we'll get more people to be involved into these activities.
That's right. So how do you actually how would somebody actually out there watching and interested to help out with Peka's replantation efforts approach this?
Okay, from time to time we will be having our replantation programs.
All right.
Okay, we do have some annual activity. We do have our annual activities, which is called Save Our Rainforest Race.
I see. Okay.
Apart from that, we do have our schedule replantation, and we'll be informing them through our Facebook
Okay.
So maybe public who is interested to join us can actually like us on the Facebook.
Okay.
And follow us on Twitter as well.
Follow your activities, all right.
Yep.
So just for anybody watching out there, the Facebook actually is facebook.com/Peka Malaysia.
Correct.
PEKA Malaysia. No space in between. So according to Puan Baslinda, that's where you can follow up what's happening, the latest, the greatest, and all the new news.
Correct.
All right. Okay. So replantations aside, let's focus back on the flood season. And as you said, 2015 is going to be naturally another monsoon. Now, what can the average Malaysian, for example, do as a way of preparing themselves? I mean, of course, those of us in urban centres may not be quite as worried, but we have the issue of flash floods over here.
Yeah. So an average Malaysian is basically can start actively working on on environment.
Right.
Basically, they do not litter.
Okay.
Because as you said, flash floods in KL mainly because of blockage of drainage.
That's right, exactly.
So our drainage system should be improvised.
Yes,
so because
it should be clear.
Yeah, it should be cleared. So even on cleanliness also itself it can start from home actually.
That's
so
right.
an average person can actually start the cleanliness works from home. Teach your children
very
not
importantly.
not to throw rubbish everywhere. So and then gotong royong, something that it used to be done frequently last time. I don't know what's happening now. So it's just something that we need to instill back to our societies that it need to be done. So on top of that, I think if we stand together and we talk on the same note that we don't want illegal logging to continue. We don't want unsustainable development to continue. I think if we stay strong together, I think this can help to give pressure
to the right channel.
To the right channel.
Right,
yes,
true. So basically every little bit counts. And let's say, for example, if there's a petition to be signed, if there is some forest reserve in your area that's being cut down. So I do see actually people in the urban centres especially now, they're very vocal. If they don't want a pedestrian bridge, for example, in the neighbourhood, they will fight for that right.
Just don't be a bystanders. Just take a proactive action and report to the authorities, because sometimes authorities also themselves are lacking of manpower. They need information from us also, from public.
Definitely.
So help in a way that you can help.
That's right. So whatever you can do, every little bit does count at the end of the day. All right. Now for the upcoming flood season, and how does flood awareness actually help, especially like let's say in the rural regions or in the kampung regions? What can be done within this year itself? What would Peka recommend?
Okay, flood awareness is actually important, because it actually helps to save lives. Okay, it also guarantees human well-being in terms of health, and also can also help in our economic. So if people are aware of the flood management system,
right?
As I mentioned earlier, we can actually direct them to the proper place, because like this current situation, some of the victims did not manage to go to the gazetted evacuation center.
Right, the shelters.
They went to non-gazetted. That means it's something ad hoc.
Okay,
so
yes. So
when it's non-gazetted, so the help, the contributions might not be properly distributed to them.
That's right.
So maybe the food is not enough, and the facilities might not be good. I mean, the public toilets. You can imagine like 4,000, 5,000 people in one place sharing the same toilets.
That's right.
So if you don't have enough information, so people, we are actually talking about the well-being of Malaysians also.
That's right. So basically, the situation just goes all the way to that, because there's no control and no central control agency.
Correct.
All right. Okay. So basically, flood awareness aside, let's talk a little bit about Peka and Peka's involvement. So Peka's involvement so far has been towards providing a little bit of relief in the areas that you're more familiar with. What are the plans for Peka's activities for the year 2015, replantation aside?
Okay. Oh yeah, because our focus have been shifted to the flood in East Coast area.
That's right, the sudden,
correct.
but it's good that you've been able to cope with the gears.
Yeah, but before to that, prior to the flood, the country also was shocked about the news of Cameron Highlands landslide, right?
That's right, very right.
So due to that, Peka is actually part of the Greening Cameron Highland Task Force.
I see.
Initiated by the ministry. And the main agency is the Forestry Department of Peninsular Malaysia.
All right.
So Peka and some other NGOs are part of the task force team.
All right.
Okay. Some discussions has been going on
right
before the flood, actually.
Yes, before the flood. I think that was the biggest issue we were covering here at Bernama before that.
Some of the discussions been going on. So budget, I think, has been approved.
All right.
So I think in first quarter of this year, we will be starting replantation in Cameron Highlands.
Right.
As part of the mission to plant 1 million trees in Cameron Highlands.
1 million trees.
Yes, correct.
All right. So let's break down the efforts and especially the situation in Cameron Highlands before moving on further. Now, Cameron Highlands, of course, being not just the tourism hub, but it's also dedicated a lot towards market gardening. Now, what's the main issue in Cameron Highlands? Why this sudden news, sudden in the public perspective of there being landslides and lots of problems and etc.? Where did this start?
If you see the situation in Cameron Highlands,
right, the history of it.
Yeah, the clearance of the land in Cameron Highlands is very, how do I say, is very high. The intensity is very high.
Right.
So mostly the land clearance is to convert the land usage to vegetables farms.
Right. Yes.
So, and then on top of that, we do have the illegal workers.
Okay.
So there is no proper drainage system at the farms.
I see. Okay.
So all these are contributing factors to the conditions, because it has been going on for quite some time.
Right, quite
so
some
it
time,
has
at
worsened,
least a decade or two.
Yeah, it has worsened and worsened. So the climax is when the landslide. So because the land could not hold anymore of the rainfalls.
Right, it's waterlogged basically.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
correct.
Yes.
So so that's why to green the Cameron Highlands, we have to plant trees, more trees in Cameron Highlands, because we have issues like crack buildings.
I see, crack
even
buildings.
Today, I saw in the newspaper there's a school crack, and it is waiting to tilt.
Right.
So it's very dangerous.
Okay.
So those are because of the
foundations itself, right.
Because it's believed that there is a stream below the building. So if it is not a good foundation,
right, it should not be built.
There should not be any building on top of it.
So again, it's also a question of not just regulation, but the allocation of permits as well as building licenses.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So in Cameron Highlands itself, you said that Peka works in conjunction with the Forestry Department.
Yes, correct.
Now, so again, you've got your volunteers who go up into Camerons.
Yeah. So the functions and the tasks for the NGOs as part of this task force is actually to gather volunteers to get more public to join and plant trees, because we want these are the contributions to make public aware that aware of the importance of planting trees.
Right.
So but at the agency level, they'll be handling the budgets,
disseminating
the tree samplings. So that's the agency level, but we'll be coming in as assistants to make sure that the allocated area is planted,
is actually greened.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Now, currently, how many people does Peka consist of? How many volunteers? Full time in that sense.
Full time.
Yes, such as yourself.
Full time. Exco's actually there are 12 of us. We are working committees.
12 of you in the working committee. All right.
But we do have members all around the country, and we keep on getting volunteers who actually interested to join us in any of our programs.
All right. Okay. So we'll be coming back shortly once the break is done. So do stay with us to learn more about PERCA and their activities.
Terima kasih. Sama-sama. 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 Sama-sama.
Satu cerita, satu bangsa, satu Malaysia.
Menongkah batasan masa, mengupas isu semasa, menjadi saluran pelbagai suara. Segalanya baru dan benar di Berita Bernama TV.
Welcome back to The Nation. You're here with me, Tamina Kausji, and in the studios we have with us Puan Baslinda, Secretary General of PERCA. All right. So as we were saying, Puan Baslinda, we were going over the challenges as well as the rebuilding efforts after the East Coast flood that recently happened in 2014 end. So what are the main challenges that remain from PERCA's perspective towards the rebuilding?
Actually, this is a crucial part now. Rebuilding, we have to make sure that all the infrastructure is not compromised.
Right.
We have to make sure that it's all put together again. So like yesterday, all the paper are covering on the news on children going to schools without a proper
that's right.
Tools, without uniforms. So all this has to be put together again, and and also on health management. So aftermath also we'll be talking on health issues. So people are more prone to sickness.
To sicknesses, yes, all the way from bacterial infections to even virals.
So we can see that this need some time to recover. So every assistance, every kind of help that is available is needed.
That's right. So the emergency is not over yet. In fact, I think this is the most challenging part of it. And I think what we've come away with, the most important thing is that there needs to be a central agency to control not just the flood relief efforts, but any other natural disaster in Malaysia.
Correct.
Right. All right. Now, moving along, the environmental perspective itself, which is what PERCA stands for, and you stand for rehabilitating the rainforest, how can we ensure that children, for example, since they of course are our future, how do we ensure that Malaysian children actually develop a perspective of conserving the environment as opposed to just taking from it?
Okay, because another PERCA's mission is actually to create awareness. So awareness, it has to start from the youngsters.
Of course.
So for PERCA, we do have some educational programs for the youngsters, for the kids in school. So we go to schools and give talks about environment, how to protect the environment, and give them some activities on environment. So just to create awareness to them, just how we should protect the environment. So this is part of our awareness program as well.
Right. So basically, how is it that you choose which school to select the schools that you will be going into?
We are not very selective, so we actually either we try to introduce ourselves to these schools, or some of the schools who have their
liaison branches
schemes. So maybe they approach us, and they want us to be part of their modules, their educational modules.
Yes.
So we we insert our environment awareness modules into their programs as well.
Okay, that's wonderful. We wish you all the success with that.
Thank you.
That most likely should be actually an essential part of any co-curricular or other extra activities for children.
Correct.
Planting trees, and not just that, but learning about why it's essential.
Correct.
Not emphasized enough. All right, now let's move along with how about the average Malaysian? What can the average Malaysian look forward to environmentally in 2015? So we've got the bad. What about the good?
Okay.
What are we doing well in?
All right. For PERCA, we'll be having our annual event. It's called Save Our Rainforest Race. It will be held on this coming March, on 28th of March.
I see. What does the Save Our Rainforest event entail, and how long has it been going on?
It is an annual event. This is our third time having it.
Okay,
so this time we'll be going to Hutan Lipo Kuala Woh in Tapah, Perak.
I see. Okay.
We've done it in Pahang. We've done it in Hutan Simpan Sungai Besi, KL.
I see.
Last year. So this year we'll be moving to Perak. So this is an event where we gather public participants.
Okay.
Registered participants who join us and be part of the race. To do some activities, sort of like explorers activities, and part of it is also to plant tree. One of the challenges is actually to plant
tree. To plant a tree. Okay. Correct. So all of this happens within the space of a single day?
Yeah, it's a half a day event actually.
Half a day event, all right. So how was the response like in previous years, especially last year, for the race itself?
Yeah, the first year we managed to plant 1,000 trees.
Right.
Last year was
during one day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last year was 1,500 trees with more than 2,000 participants.
Right.
So this year we hope we can increase the targets to plant 1,500 trees as well.
Right, at least at the baseline.
Yeah.
Okay. And for individuals out there, our viewers watching who might be interested to join the race, where do they sign up for it?
Okay.
Is registration open already?
Yeah, it is open. It is a online registration.
Right.
The viewers can go straight to PERCA's website, www.percamalaysia.org.
Okay, so let me just repeat that. You can actually go to PERCA Malaysia's website, www.pekamalaysia.org, and that's where you can actually sign up for the Save the Rainforest race happening in March.
Yep.
All right. Okay, so registration is for all ages. Do you have age categories? How is it?
Yeah, it's for adults above 18 years old.
All right.
And it's for adults above 18 years old.
Okay, right. So basically, any adult Malaysians who are out there who would be interested to join in on Peka's activities, saving the rainforest by helping to plant even more trees. And this year it will be in
Hutan Lipur Kuala Lumpur Tapah Perak.
Okay, Hutan Lipur Perak. All right. So that's very interesting. And now, so you are covering the baselines of not just education, but as well as relief, and you also have awareness for the adults out there. What would you say is one of the biggest wishes or desires that Peka would have as an organization for Malaysian environment?
Okay, we would like to see that all these activities, logging activities, mining activities, is controlled or even stopped.
Yes.
Yeah. So we would want all the deforestation that's happening now, the uncontrolled deforestation can be converted back to afforestation. Means planting back.
Yes, planting back the trees.
In
that's
the forest.
right.
So this is where we need to be very vocal. We need to be strong together.
Yes.
To show that we cannot destroy our Mother Nature.
Yes, and not just that, but that Mother Nature is telling us literally that this cannot go on.
Yeah.
There
is a saying that if we hurt the Mother Nature, they will come back. I mean, it will come back to haunt you actually.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think that is something we have seen throughout the year of 2014 especially, what with all the natural disasters happening.
Correct.
All right. Okay, so thank you so much for being with us here in the studio today, Puan Baslinda. And to all the Malaysians out there, we hope that this has brought you a stronger message of why exactly the environment needs to be preserved, not just on an everyday local immediate basis such as not clogging up your neighborhood drains, but even on a more local perspective, all the way up to, writing to your MP or even standing up for any deforestation within your immediate area. So thank you so much for joining us here on The Nation. I'm Tamina Kausji, and I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.